This is an Icon Ministry production with the support of our ministry partners and donors.
One of the things I do all the time, every morning, every time I get a moment, I stop and I imagine the Lord hugging me, embracing me. Because sometimes the world around us is so demanding and there are so many things that people say of us and impressions we get of ourselves that we listen to many voices, but we need to listen to the voice of love. This is a voice shouted so loudly when he washed the feet of his disciples. Every wash, every moment that he spent washing their feet was a loud cry that he loves his apostles. He's not disgusted by them. He's not upset with them, even in their imperfection. And they encountered the love of the Lord as I and you are able to do. We encounter God's love, his presence. And it is absolutely incredible. But we are called, as we heard in the gospel, not to bask in that love and stay in that love. It's not only about my relationship with Jesus, which is so essential, so important, but also, again, that needs to translate in my relationship with others as I go out to wash the feet of others, to love others. For them to hear the voice that we heard, the voice that I heard, that was shouted to me saying, I love you. We are to be that voice to people who don't have that stillness, who don't have that opportunity to hear. And so this is where it needs to begin. It needs to begin with listening to the voice of God, but then going out. But here's one thing that we need to observe, especially from today's feast and from today's reading, that where did they hear the voice of God? They heard the voice of God not in a quiet time, in a prayer time only. They heard the voice of God not in a moment when they were by themselves in a quiet room with God, but they heard the voice of God at the Eucharist, at the table of the Lord, at the place where they got to celebrate Jesus himself, at Mass. So they really experienced God's love at Mass. They go out, they're commanded to go out, but then the scripture says that you are to come back to the table, come back to the Eucharist. You see, it's like one of those big ships where you have airplanes landing on them and they're there to refuel and they're sent out, but they need to come back to refuel. They can't spend the entire time in the air. They need to come back to the ship to refuel, to change the pilot sometimes. They need to come back to rest, to do the maintenance. And this is the Eucharist for us, where we come back to the table of the Lord, where he strengthens, he nourishes, he forgives us, and he gives us that experience, that voice of love for us to carry in the world. Are you spending time with the Eucharist? Are you spending time at the table of the Lord, going to Mass? Because this is where we find strength. This is where we hear the voice of love that we are to shout to the ends of the earth.
This production is only made possible because of the generous support of Icon Ministry partners and donors. Please go to iconministry.com/support to make a donation.